This is the Fendt Rogator 1-year review. This is the Fendt Rogator 937. It is 365 horsepower. It has a 1600 gallon tank that you can actually fit 1663 gallons in. And it has a 132-foot Millennium boom. It has 4-corner airbag suspension with dual struts. It is stable, it is smooth. The only drawback is it makes it more difficult to change spare tires. So what they give you is this to bolt on here, and then this is where you're supposed to place your jack, which we don't use. Right there. I call this the boat anchor. So we used their bracket for the first tire, unbolted all this. This is just our bracket for the EK crop dividers, and this is the fender. So we have to unbolt all that, bolt on the bracket they gave us, and then we over tightened these nuts, and then when we went to take it off, the threads were coming out also. So we just said, instead of unbolting all this and bolting it back together, we're just going to use what we've been doing in the past, and that seems to work for us with our 2-jack system on the axle. I think the best, and maybe going forward, is we might be in the market for the big jack that lifts the whole front end or whole rear end at once, and you do both fronts or both backs at the same time. Those line up in these little pucks instead of messing around with this or messing around with your 2 jacks. I think that might be the play or plan going forward. When you change fenders to the skinny fenders, when you have the skinny tires on for in crop, the skinny fenders are super tight to the wheels. We've tried adjusting the bolts, tried adjusting it. It's just tight. This one I think is the worst one. The front is, no, this one's tight too. That one's tight. Just the way the fenders are formed. Front feels nice. This one's pretty good. I think this one's good too. Yeah, it's just the way they're on there. Sprayer has the Fendt 3-year full warranty, full service, a Fendt warranty, which is really nice. During the season, they call, says we're coming out to do the 100-hour service. Great, it's in the shop. So that is one nice thing with the Fendt products. When I go to rinse the sprayer, really the only thing outside of the cab I have to do is turn this valve, the manual recovery valve, so that I open that and all the product from my booms can be recirculated back into the tank. So there's many different ways to clean out your sprayer. So my tank will be empty and I will recover everything from the booms back into the tank, dump my tank, and then use air to blow out the booms. Then I'll pull from my rinse tank of clean water with flush ammonia and rinse out my booms. So now those are clean, and then I will rinse out my tank from the rinse tank. With that recirculating boom, I have not had any chemical hang-ups yet. This is your display for the front fill. Walking up, stairs are fairly steep. Then you have a little step down going into the cab. It's not a big deal at all. I think they had to lower the cab for transport or something. I'm not exactly sure. So I think that's why there's the little step down and then step up to the back. The rinse tank is higher than the cab, but for transport is actually transported underneath the sprayer. So I remember walking around at Ag shows, first released this sprayer walking under the sprayer, I'm like, huh, that's a weird looking skid plate. But no, it's actually the rinse tank underneath the sprayer for transport. So now it's up top. I have just over 300 hours on this sprayer, 311. And this year I have sprayed 23,400 acres. That is not how many acres we have. I've sprayed each field multiple times. So starting in the cab with the Raven Viper 4 guidance system, a nice big screen, decent system. So this is my guidance. You have all these widgets. You can customize them, you can move them all around, you can have it however you want. The screen crashes sometimes on startup. So the best way I've figured out how to go about that is just shut it all down, let the battery disconnect, and try again. On the second time it'll always work, so sometimes in the morning it won't come on. So if you turn the key, just so the key's on, let this boot up, and then start the engine is the best way to start up in the morning. This is my Hawkeye 2 rate controller screen. This is the screen I have when I'm spraying. This is the screen I have open. So there's a lot of info on here. You get used to it. You can also make it bigger because it's really small. So I'll make it bigger if I want to change some things. So 40, that's the pressure I'm spraying at. This is my duty cycle. This is how much is in my tank. This is my ranges with the nozzles I have. So I got my Twin Jet 05 dual pattern brown nozzles on. So this is where you can change your nozzles, and it shows you your droplet size depending on what nozzles you have on. So it's a coarse spray right now. If I were to change my pressure, that line would change up or down. Then go back to my other screen. Got a turn here. I wish this screen could take up this half, and I could actually kind of see these gauges, because this is kind of a wasted space here. So if it was like between the mini version and the big version, it'd be really embarrassing if it could do that, and I haven't figured that out yet, but it'd be cool if this screen was that whole thing. If I'm not on this screen, I'm over here. Similar info. My auto boom's on, my master applies on, my pump's on, how much is in my tank, my agitation, pump pressure, nozzle pressure. The Millennium booms are so stable, they just float right over the ground. 132 feet, but they don't feel like it until you get up in the trees. Then it feels kind of big, but if you got open fields, big open fields, it's a good size, and you could even go bigger. It doesn't feel like a 132. Like, no wonder sprayers are getting so much bigger and wider. These booms are so stable. You could go wider, and eventually they will. So there's 7 sensors. Raven XRT. The auto boom controls are here. I'm at 65, and I don't know if it's sensitivity or just settings, I'm at 2. So there's 1 through 4. 2 seems to be the best that works for me. So all year long, I have it on 2. On 4, I switch it to 4, and those booms will shoot to the moon. But then I think if you bring that 65 number down, they will drop. I just keep it on 2. Another thing with these booms is there's so many cross braces. It's all braced up, and in the mornings you go to your sprayer and there's bird nests everywhere, especially in the spring. They're making nests all through your little cross braces. disregard my flowering canola on August 30th. The gophers ate all this out and it's coming back. Visibility from the cab is great. There's a lot of glass. You can see behind you really well. There was a monitor here with cameras that looked right and left down the boom, but you couldn't see anything, so it was just blocking my view, so I took the monitor off. A lot of glass to the ceiling. I usually have my shade down because there is so much glass. I have this is your remote to check your nozzles. I've used it once. I don't know. It kind of works. It's not the best. The capstan remote was a lot better. Usually we'll just go 2 people in the yard and check them real quick instead of using the remote, and then you got to change a bunch of settings on here to use the remote. Oh yeah, my solenoid tool. I've only also used it once. So if you have a plugged solenoid, you'll get an alarm. Stuck, pop it. Use this tool. Unscrew the solenoid. Take apart the solenoid. It works really well. Haven't had to use it much. I just had some plastic in the plumbing, like in my first 2 tanks or something, but I haven't had to use it since. But I keep this in here just in case. The Bluetooth connects to your phone like lightning fast. You know when you try to connect to something and it spins and it thinks and it thinks and it's like, nah, failed. And you try it again and it thinks and it's like connected. I connect, you touch to connect to this and it's like, boom! It connects before you even press it. It's lightning fast. It's the fastest Bluetooth connection I've ever seen in my life. But I only use the Bluetooth for music or podcasts. I don't use the mic because the person on the other end can't hear you. So I don't use that. So it just sits there. My only real negative about this sprayer, 1 cup holder. You gotta have more than 1 cup holder. You got lots of room. Put another one there. Put 3. Put another one there. So my fix is, I bought this on Amazon to convert 1 cup holder into 2 cup holders. What a waste of money. It doesn't fit. Only thing it fits are smaller things. Gotta have more than 1 cup holder. This is your buddy seat. It can fold down. It can fold up. It has an extension. Fold that up. Fold that down. It is tight to the door. Like this bar is right over the person's kind of left leg, left knee. So I usually just have it like that because I don't get a lot of visitors. But if I did, it's there. Light switches are right here. Turn on those. This thing looks like a spaceship. They're so bright. They're so white. Lots of lights to the front, lights to the corners. Lights up top, lights shining down your booms, lights underneath at your fill station. Lights are really, really good on this. One thing I have set up is so I'm set at 40 PSI, but my pump pressure is 5 PSI more. So coming out of a headland into an unsprayed area, I'm gonna have no delay in getting to my target rate. So see my pump's at 45, my nozzle's at 40. Go back here. I'm set at 40. That way, gophers, I have less of a delay. I'm coming out of my headland and getting to my target rate. The guys at Full Line, Justin and Eldon, they have that set up. I really like that. Those guys know this sprayer in and out way more than I do. And they are pumping these sprayers out of that store, so check those guys out. They are the sprayer gurus. Fuel consumption, it's decent on fuel. What does that tell me? Not a lot. What can I tell you? It's decent on fuel. It's good on def. It doesn't use a lot of def. I don't know. Don't have not much set up here. I know you can sure notice it when you change tires. Going from the skinnies to the fatties, burn a lot more fuel, makes sense. I can spray on a full tank, I can get well over 1,000 acres on a tank, so I mean if you're doing that you can't complain too much. So they could change the nozzles from in the cab, that would be cool. I don't know if that's like a patent thing, but yeah, hit a button, select your nozzle, and just the whole nozzle body just goes. Change nozzles, all of them, right from inside the cab. That would be nice. This is what the engine sounds like when you punch it. So it's got some decent speed. I don't go crazy fast. My road cruise is set at 23 mile an hour. I do that when I'm empty. 17 when I'm loaded. I don't need to go 30 mile an hour. This is where the handle responsiveness page is, so I have it as responsive as possible on my forward and reverse. This is my last fail to deslocate. Fendt Rogator overall score 9.5. Let me know what I missed.